For today's cup of coffee, we have something that's quite interesting. And the youngest kid and I actually got to see, a video of this guy. And this Nick Redfern of Mysterious Universe. And we've used his stuff, and of course, I think we have advertised for his website often.
Yes.
And I knew that he had written quite a few books and that he had been on Coast to Coast AM before. But we were watching this show, what was it, Discovery Plus?
It was on Discovery Plus, yeah, and it was called The
Unexplained,
Yeah,
and it had William Shatner. Mm-hmm. And we had watched it. It was actually a very good show.
William Shatner was hosting it.
Yeah. And we found out that he's what?
He's 90-something.
Yeah. He will turn 91 soon, I think was what it was.
Yeah.
And William Shatner and his overly
dramatic
pauses. But anyhow, on one of them we had just started watching. It was about cryptids. And there was there was several of the bald men's on there, which hair can be overrated, guys. It really can. But one of them was Nick Redfern. And I was in here just going, oh my God, it's Nick Redfern.
And I'm like, who?
Right.
I'm like, Cher. Who?
We discuss him frequently. And he's British. And it was more wonderful because he was British.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, it was thrilling for me. This is my world, folks.
Yeah.
But we have an article by him today from, of course, his website, Mysterious Universe. And this was written March 20th of 2022. The link will be in the description box. And it's entitled, How and Why Government Agencies Destroy Top Secret Files We Expect to Keep Hidden. And that seems sort of, like, well, why would they not?
Yeah.
But we're going to explore what Mr. Redfern has to say. And he writes, in my latest 2 articles, I made it clear that over the years and decades, more than a few highly sensitive government files on UFOs have gone missing, as in gone forever, and that eventually those same files were totally destroyed. It's not at all impossible. One such file, or multiple files, concerned the 1980 Rendlesham Forest UFO landing. The other 2 files were focused on Roswell. What else, of course?
What kind of forest was that?
The Rendlesham.
Rendlesham?
Yes. And I'm not
even going to try to pronounce that right now.
I'm not as familiar with that one. I'll have to go back, and that's another rabbit hole that we can explore at some point.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember if it was it Tunguska that was the other forest that had just been leveled?
I think so.
And that's where the moldavite comes from, which I have been wearing a piece of moldavite since 2013. Moldavite is not something that you want to randomly start wearing. We may do a cup about moldavite and some of the different stones and their meanings and stuff.
People say stay the fuck away from it because it can really mess up your life if you are not ready.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how true is that? I mean, for you, there's evidence.
My life was already messed up, and it was when I went and got it. And it was just, for a couple of weeks, I felt like I was drunk, which at that point in time was not necessarily a bad thing.
I wonder what would happen if I ever got moldavite. How much would that mess me up?
When I touched the piece of moldavite, I mean, it's like the energy just ran up my arm. And it's like, that one is mine. I knew it was mine. But anyhow, we'll have to save that for another cup. Because that is a full, there's a lot of people, there's controversy on everything.
I just want a crystal that's in the shape of an alien head.
They have those.
Yeah.
But anyhow, the other files that are probably destroyed focused on Roswell. And what else? Of course, I've heard people say there is no way that such important material would ever be burned or shredded. You would be wrong, despite their importance. There is a perfect and controversial example that shows how and why high-level important U.S. government files were destroyed. In the case today, I'm talking about top-secret papers concerning the CIA's MK Ultra mind control program. The destroying of the MK Ultra papers went down forever between 1972 and 1973. That was when massive amounts of MK Ultra files were destroyed on the orders of the CIA director at the time, Richard Helms. The reasoning behind the destruction was simple. The program was in danger of being compromised by the U.S. media and the U.S. Senate, and most of the mind control work that had been long perfected, the old historical records, which told the stories of the abuses that went on in the program, were deemed vital to be destroyed. But how did this situation come about? Let's see. And he does have a couple of photos within this article that, as far as documents, and you can go to, I'm trying to remember if it was, I don't know that it was the CIA website or something, things that have been released through FOIA. Mm-hmm. So there's different ones that you can go and look up.
Okay.
And now, like, we've talked about this before, anything that's going to be released to the public, now, is that real? Probably not.
Depends on what it is, I guess.
That and the redaction.
Yeah.
My God, the redaction. It was late in 1972 that certain high-ranking figures in the CIA had been carefully and quietly providing U.S. journalists with highly classified information on MK Ultra. And it wasn't just information that was being clandestinely shared, but official MK Ultra documents too, with such secret papers in the hands of the press, which revealed the long and shocking history of how the CIA had been using people against their will in their mind manipulation programs. All hell broke loose in the CIA. Helms demanded to know who was doing the leaking. It was imperative, he said, that whoever was doing it should be found and arrested as soon as possible. Arrest my ass.
Yeah.
Those people would just disappear suddenly.
Suddenly without a trace.
Well, they suicided themselves, 3 shots to the back of the head. Anyhow.
Why not just let them go missing? Let no one know.
Yeah. The answer to who it was that was giving such material to the media was never firmly proved, but there is no doubt that it was a Deep Throat meets Edward Snowden type character. When the U.S. media began to write what it knew about MK Ultra at the time, which was limited but certainly growing in clarity, the U.S. Senate took notice too. You really
growing.
Matters were in danger of spiraling out of control, and rapidly so, too. Director Helms knew that something had to be done, otherwise just about everything MK Ultra had ever been done would soon be in the public domain.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, as far as Congress...
some of this shit should honestly be public knowledge anyway.
Absolutely.
Like, there's no reason. Like, what are we going to do with some of the information? Seriously.
Well, the thing is, if it goes to...
Except look at it and be like, this is interesting.
To the Senate and Congress and all this bunch of stuff, what happens? They talk a hell of a good game, but what is done?
Very little to nothing.
Right. You know, and it's like, we don't need somebody else to get up there and be a good orator. If you want to be a wonderful orator, apply with Audible. Seriously.
There are some rough people who are on Audible.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. If someone is that good at that, then go on that. Don't sit there and pretend to represent the people.
No, I meant like there are a bunch of shitty people, like shitty narrators on Audible.
Absolutely. Like that one that did that Michael Heiser book. I just wanted to, I sat and cussed greatly during that one.
How many hours of that?
God, about 14.
Yeah.
For real.
14 hours.
Mm-hmm.
If you, without the pauses and all the shit,
mm-hmm.
like I would say it was about like every 5, 10, 15 minutes that you're cussing.
Yes. But that's my normal speech.
No cussing it out.
It was just horrible. But going back to these people that are in government that find these things, I think that the only time they seem to be that outraged is when something has been released to the public and they have to say something about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think it was Mark Twain that said diapers and politicians should be changed frequently and for the same reason.
Yeah. High key.
All right, Helms chose none other than Sidney Gottlieb, I think I've pronounced that right, to take control of the situation. And Gottlieb, having been the man who ran the occult-driven Operation Often program, we did cover that quite a few cups back. Y'all could go through the archives and find those on YouTube.
We may or may not link it.
Yeah, it depends on what goes on between now and then. Which began in the latter part of the 1960s. Helms ordered Gottlieb on the morning of January the 30th, 1973, to drive over to a certain installation owned by CIA in Warrenton, Virginia. It was a facility which just happened to house hundreds of thousands of pages of MK Ultra themed documents. The director of the facility was outraged. After all, we're talking about massive amounts of documentation from one of the CIA's most significant projects being destroyed at what pretty much amounted to a whim. Yeah. But that same director was hardly in a position to argue, as the orders were coming from the most senior figure in the CIA, Richard Helms. Sidney Gottlieb arrived early in the morning.
I would make a copy of it before destroying it.
Right, but you got to realize 73, this was before you had the opportunity to
take photos and shit.
Flash drives, all that stuff. It's
that
heartbreaking.
That's a good thing about having, these cell phones now.
Oh, yeah. It says that he arrived early that morning and ordered that every single piece of paper on MK Ultra be made available to him. Cart upon cart of files were taken to the facility's furnace. Gottlieb then ordered personnel from the Technical Services Division to destroy the files by burning them all. Gottlieb stood in grim-faced silence as the documents were destroyed. It was an operation which took most of the day. When the task was over, Gottlieb returned to CIA headquarters in Langley, Virginia, and told a relieved Helms that the job had been completed. That was not the end of things, though. An order went out to every CIA substation, to every college and university that may have conducted research on MK Ultra for them, and to every other arm of the intelligence community to destroy anything and everything linked to the program. Inevitably, some, in fact many, survived the order of destruction. What this tells us is that extremely important files can get burned or shredded by government agencies. And do. I'll add that.
There's a lot that gets destroyed.
Oh, yeah.
By them.
And with MK Ultra,
a lot of damning,
Right. And with MK Ultra burned and shredded. And those files will never be seen again, simply because they no longer exist. That could well be the case with Roswell and Rendlesham. too. So many ufologists assume that secret UFO files were always hidden away, when really they're just 100% destroyed. And he has a note that says that the CIA/MK Ultra documents used in the article were released under the terms of the U.S. Freedom of Information Act, and as a result are now in public domain. And that's what that's the FOIA, is the Freedom of Information. With FOIA, those are the ones that are online, different things for people to read. I think that while a lot of these things were destroyed, people always make a copy somewhere. And we've got the X-Files here as our backdrop today. Yeah. And that was, in some of their shows, they would have these like underground vaults where they had shelf upon shelf upon shelf of this vast underground warehouse of knowledge.
Documentation and everything.
Yeah. Because even within the deep state, there's a deeper state.
Oh, yeah.
That some of these people are somebody somewhere is going to keep a record of something.
Oh, hell yeah.
But within,
most people.
Oh, yeah. And how easy it is that some of these people that either were part of these experiments or, had witnessed some of these things, because they are so incredible, it's very easy to discount what they know.
Oh, yeah, because some of it is just so out there that you're like, this cannot be real.
Absolutely. And it's just like we were discussing with the oldest kid yesterday about Bob Lazar. Because our whole family is like this, really.
How bizarre. How bizarre.
And that what this man witnessed, and he had sent me a link to Joe Rogan podcast. that had been uploaded to YouTube. And I can put the link there if I remember to.
Yeah.
And that these were the guys that had talking to Lazar. And the one little guy that was the film producer or whatever, he was just he's a sycophant. But the other guy that was there that had worked with Lazar said that this man's story had been consistent for like 40 years.
Yeah.
So that gave it credence and validation. And poor little Travis Walton, God love him. That, you talk about a traumatized human being.
You can look at him and tell that he's traumatized.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we do have some of the survivors of the MK Ultra. I know that there was that lady that was up in Canada, and that there were quite a few people that had sued. They did like a class action lawsuit.
How do they like snap out of that MK Ultra stuff?
They don't.
So like if they hear whatever word or whatever, they'll go back into whatever.
I think within
for the rest of their life.
There are some techniques like hypnosis that have reportedly been used to help reprogram somebody. I mean, you got to think about what MK Ultra, a lot of things that they did, and this was one of the things that they suspect was done to Ted Kaczynski, especially at his age, because that he was young and more susceptible to, suggestion, as all kids are. That's why they attack these young people with these psychological operations.
Oh, yeah.
That they would have them listen to these things repeatedly while they slept. Sort of like those tape series, or, used to be cassette tapes now, and you can get these on the YouTubes or any streaming, that while you sleep, it has these suggestions.
Can I have one that teaches me shit?
Well, supposedly, yes.
Like, please, I would love to have one that would help me learn a different language or something. Math lessons. Let me just sleep through every single math class.
But let me clarify, it's not the same technique. There were other techniques used with MK Ultra. It was not just a matter of them listening to some kind of suggestion while they slept.
I will gladly listen to a thing that will teach me.
Now, with MK Ultra, not sure if they went into depth, but not sure that they didn't, as far as causing dissociative identity disorder. Those are other, programs like satanic ritual abuse.
Oh, yeah.
Now that is something that they intend to cause and do. And because our family has firsthand knowledge of DID, my God.
Oh, God, we do.
And if somebody, I have researched for years, and it is a fracturing of spirit. And so as much as I have tried to edify myself, I am still just lost. Totally.
Yep, I feel that.
And it's not rare.
That's why I don't even bother studying up on the stuff, because I can't wrap my brain around it.
But you have people that have it. It's real. And so what do you do with them? Do you throw them away because they're broken? I mean,
no. No, you treat them like other people, but you do like if they are not the core self, you sort of have to reel them back a little bit.
Yeah. If you can.
Yeah, if you can.
No, one of ours, we couldn't. And so trying to deal with the aftermath. And then when the core personality, it's like, to sit there and say, I didn't do that. And they're right. Because it was one of the other ones within their body.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that's fucking beyond MK Ultra. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, he's not part of it. He was not part of that at all.
No, not even as far as the satanic ritual abuse. He was just abused. Horribly abused, yeah. And that was something that we've had to help work through, because a lot of those memories were repressed.
And I didn't mean for if that kind of sounded like, oh, he was just abused. No. He was abused. But that's horrible.
The type of abuse, absolutely.
Yeah.
From such a young age.
That MK Ultra shit is horrible too.
Sure. But at least they waited till they got a certain age.
Yeah.
But now with the satanic ritual abuse, they don't. They wait till when they're just little.
Mm-hmm.
So with the MK Ultra, with the Roswell papers, with the UFO anything, there's somebody somewhere that knows something. But the ones that know the most would rather die than release that information to the public.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure quite a few of them have.
Oh, most certainly. A lot of them have, honestly.
I started researching
and they kill others with the information.
Sure they do. So, and it's just like Edward Snowden.
Talk about taking secrets to the grave.
Yeah. I started researching him a couple of months ago, and that story in itself is so mind-boggling. I just had to put it down and walk away for a while. There's some of them that I do, because it will mess with you when you don't know who is who and who is the players and whether they're lying or whether they're telling the truth. And you've got this is a smattering of truth, and then the rest of it is spin. It is just brain-breaking.
Yeah.
And these are the times we're living in, folks.
This is why I try not to focus my time on that.
Well, I can understand that. But it's just, that's something that I'm kind of compelled to do. But Nick Redfern, I was thrilled to get to see what he looked like. I mean, there was a little thumbnail on his articles.
She was like, it's him! It's him!
Yeah, so I was in here sort of flailing about.
You were flailing and shit, and I'm like, who is this? Hi, bald.
He was an attractive looking man. I mean, he was a very nice looking man.
Hi, bald. Hey, I have the right to say that, so.
It's like I said, hair is overrated. Sean Connery.
Oh, the hell you say? I'm going to wear wigs.
Yul Brynner, Sean Connery, those are just...
normalized men wearing wigs.
Well, people used to do that for a long time.
Yeah.
They really did, so just that can come back in vogue.
I would like that.
Yeah. So, anyhow, that's for today's cup of coffee. And if you've had experiences with the paranormal, supernatural, encounters with UFOs, aliens, cryptids, if you happen to know Nick Redfern, if you've got local...
Read his shit all the time. You should know him by now.
Tell him that there was this little lady in Virginia that was just flailing about because she got to see him on a show with William Shatner.
Oh!
If you've got local regional family,
it's him. Damn. See,
myths and legends. Just send us an email, cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com.
Yeah.
It was an exciting thing for me. It was thrilling. It was thrilling.
I know. I was right there.
So go ahead and do your spiel.
If you like this video, don't forget to like, share, comment, and most of all, subscribe and click that little notification button for daily notifications of our daily uploads. Thank you all, and have a good...
You all have a beautiful, blessed day. We'll see you on the next cup. Bye.
Oh!